Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the issue of, abortion, which is clearly quite contentious at the moment in the Roe versus Wade and the Supreme Court of the United States, and the way it's ginned up and politicized and propagandized by the globalists and the political left. But also want to talk about the issue of if she decides to have an abortion or have a birth, either one, why is it that the man has no say in the matter? Why is it just a unilateral decision for her to make, and he must pay based on her whim? Now, that's really an issue. Now, I guess before even getting to that, there's a view out there from the people that aren't really sure about this or don't know much about it, or indeed from the propagandists, where they say that the child support has to be paid for the first 18 years following birth, or until the child turns 18. Now, if the man has a steady job, like he's never been unemployed, or he makes an above average income, he doesn't have to make big bucks, just above average, then the chances are very high, and this is most often the case, where he has to pay child support until the child turns 26. Similarly, they often set child support from the time, they'll backdate it to the time that conception occurred. So really, in a worst case, well, not a worst case, this happens quite a lot, the man's paying for 27 years. So if she decides to go to have a birth, then the man is unless he's a very high income man, the man is financially ruined. His life is over financially. His life is over, which is why so many men in these situations commit suicide, or choose to live on the street. And I've known people who they worked in the company that I've been in, who've had well-paying jobs. These are quite capable people, not big bucks paying jobs, but they're doing all right. And yet they realise that their life is over financially, and they one guy I'm thinking of now, he chose to live on the street. Just become a street bum. Well, that's about where he was anyway. Why should he work those sort of hours, have those sort of stresses, all to subsidise an incredibly unjust system? So that was his sort of view. A bit of a drastic view, I thought, but nonetheless, others I've known that have quit their well-paid corporate job and done all sorts of jobs on the street for cash, window cleaning and things like that. And one guy I'm thinking of now, he's quite an industrious guy, but when he got caught up in this, he thought, "No, that's it. I'm not." He quit his corporate job, and so he lived. He got some sort of government benefit. I can't remember what it was now, but he went around cleaning windows, that sort of thing, and he was quite a hard worker. So he could clean sort of all the windows in the street before his competitors even got out of bed, type thing. And so he was, he could do, 30, 40 windows in a few hours, and he'd made $500, so he was in cash. He would give a discount rate if they paid in cash. So he did very well out of that. I mean, he could make a couple of $1,000 a week just cleaning windows. I mean, sure, he was up early and he was busting his ass and that sort of thing, but he's very good at it. You ought to watch him go. He's very, very nimble, and so so those are the sort of things that happen. So it creates a very artificial sort of economy, this child support thing. But the issue is that if the man has no say in the matter, so and I've known many men who've given the girl the money to have the abortion, and she's kept the money and gone to birth anyway, and then hit him up for the child support, and he didn't even know. He's being dragged into court, and he's got what? Now, the powers that the Child Support Agency have are absolutely amazing. Sweeping powers. So say she decides to go to birth and keep the child, and he doesn't know it was a one night stand or something. He doesn't really know her, and then she keeps the money for the abortion that he gives her, and in one case I'm thinking of now where she said she'd had the abortion and she was so depressed she couldn't work for a few weeks and wanted him to pay her rent for that month, and so he did, and so she kept that money as well. But in fact she'd never had an abortion, so she kept all that money and went to birth anyway. And because he had an above average income and he was a steady income earner, he was seen as a walking wallet by pretty much all those folks. And so she goes to get some sort of government benefit, and they say, we're not going to give you the benefit till you name the biological partner for the procreation. Okay, well, it's Billy Bob down the road. So they send Billy Bob. They reckon they send Billy Bob a letter, but he's got, like, if he doesn't respond instantly, they already garnish his pay. They'll empty his bank account. They can sweep the bank account of every penny that's in it. They can garnish his pay means they go to the employer and they say, okay, you have to give us $2,000 a month out of Billy Bob's pay each month, and you've got to pay it to us. And if you don't, we'll take you to court. And a few employers will fight it in court, and they win, by the way. But most of them just say, oh yeah, okay, fine, here you go, here's the money. And Billy Bob's got no say in the matter. Billy Bob isn't consulted. Billy Bob doesn't have to agree. Billy Bob's got nothing to do with it. He ceases to be a legal entity at this point. He has no legal rights, none. And they can just go and do this without having to prove a case in court. Now, what they say is that, well, she signed a declaration, and that is the only evidence we need to take away all of your legal rights. All of them are gone as soon as she signs that document and says that you're the biological partner for the procreation. That's it. End of your legal rights. So now, if you look at it in terms of natural justice, that's clearly it's clearly a problem. If it was that Billy Bob could go to court and say, look, I paid for the abortion, and I I don't even know this woman. It was a one night stand at some party or something like that. I never agreed. There was I didn't plan to have children. Then Billy Bob should be able to walk away from it. He never agreed to have children and have a child, and he's paid for the abortion, which she deceived him into saying that she would do, and then she kept the money. So Billy Bob should be able to walk away from that. That's her responsibility and the responsibility of the state, assuming the state wants to take it up. Now, if in the event Billy Bob sort of hardly ever had a job, he never really worked, and if he did get a job, he was going to be out of work in 5 minutes. And when he was employed, it was a very low-paid wage that really falls under the child support threshold, where they're only going to gouge him for $5 a week or $10 a month or something like that. Then I've noticed that they switch around and they try to encourage Shaniqua to have an abortion. Hey, you're not going to. There's no one you're going to get any money out of here. There's no easy money coming from any direction. You might as well have a fucking abortion, that sort of thing. But if the guy's got steady employment history and makes an above average income, doesn't have to be big bucks, but above average income, then they will encourage Shaniqua to go ahead with the birth and go chasing him or hang on to the child and not put it up for adoption or something like that. So, but the issue here is that Billy Bob has no legal rights. Now, if Billy Bob did have legal rights, he could say, well, I paid for the abortion. I never agreed to this. There was never any agreement to it. She said she was on, I used a condom. She said she was on birth control, so I have no responsibility for this, which would be true and will be completely just, completely legal. Now people scream, what about the child? Yeah, you don't care about children, you fucking Nazi Hitler. There's always those sort of people. Well, don't you care about Billy Bob's legal rights? You're a fucking Hitler. So that can go both ways if you want to do it. But the issue of should it be his decision? I think it was Dave Chappelle or one of the comedians said, well, it's your body, your choice. Okay. My money, my choice. Oh, no, my body, my choice, but not your money. Your money, but your money is my money. So it doesn't work. They don't agree that it works both ways. It only works one way. Now, these sort of legal systems been in place for some time, and from the very outset, I've thought it was outrageously unjust, and I've lost a lot of the computer programmers and people like that worked in companies that I was in. And I was one time VP of product development, and you've got to rely on some pretty sharp guys to get those products through the developmental stage and out to market, that sort of thing. If you lose some key people, then it can throw the whole project into disarray, which it often did because of this. Now, these guys were, they had extra money in their pocket. They were doing pretty good. And they would go to parties and they would get drunk, and some of them were snorting and this sort of thing. That was the lifestyle they had. And I didn't agree or disagree with it. It's just kind of how it was, as long as they did their job. And they would have these one-night stands at these parties. Because they had a good income and a steady employment history, these women were inclined to say, well, gee, if I hang on to this, if I go to birth here, I can get $25,000 a year cash that these guys have got to give me. They're never unemployed. I'll be able to get this money forever. And so this very much went into the decision-making pie. Did the guy have a steady employment record, and did he make an above-average income? And this was very much a factor in deciding whether or not these women would go to birth. If the guy was a bum with no money or anything like that, or had shit jobs that paid shit money, then no benefit. You're not going to get anything out of the guy, and he's got such a checkered employment history that no one's going to come after him anyway. So that was that was it. Now, there's also sort of a few other things, and I wanted to talk about how the child support often goes beyond 18, and just a couple of examples. I mean, here's a guy I'm thinking of where he's got a daughter that left high school, so he doesn't have to pay child support anymore, which is a big relief, and because he's an above average income earner, so they were hitting him pretty hard. So then she goes out and just sort of bums around for a year or so, then decides she wants to go to university to do business studies, and she says that he has to pay on the grounds that the money she has to borrow to do the course would put her in debt for some years, which would impact her lifestyle, and therefore she wants him to pay for it. Now, she hasn't seen him since she was like 3 years old, so why he should pay? Now, he refuses to pay, so she drags him into court. And it goes like this, and she even admits this. She goes into she applies for some student loan or something, or student benefit, something like that. And the first thing they say is, well, who's your father? Well, it's Billy Bob. Okay, well, Billy Bob Jones. Let's look him up. Whoa, okay. He's never been unemployed. Wow, he makes double the average wage. Okay, well, no, we can hit Billy Bob up for plenty of money, no problem there. Let's drag him into court and force him to pay. Can you do that? Says the girl. Oh, you fucking bet we can. And I tell you what, you don't have to pay a cent. We'll drag Billy Bob into court. Won't cost you a penny. We'll take care of everything. The lawyers, the lot. You don't have to do anything. Sit back and wait for that bounty, the money just to land in your lap. We'll hit him up and we'll threaten him. If he doesn't pay, then we'll drag him into court. We'll kick his ass around the court until he does pay. And I tell you what, something else is beautiful here. If any costs we incur in dragging him through the court and slapping him around, we'll make him pay. So he has to pay his own legal costs and ours, and then he's got to pay you the money. Look at those damn white fascist Nazis getting put in their place. What? This is how the world should be, says the angry lesbian counsellor in the welfare department, student welfare department. So anyway, she starts the business studies course, and he pays the first year. He has to pay all of it, by the way. She doesn't have to pay like half or he may only pay a quarter or something. He's got to pay the whole swag. He can afford it. He can afford to pay it. Damn right fascist Nazi Hitler he is. So he can afford it. Anyway, she does about 6 months of the course and then decides it's all too hard. There's maybe they expect her to pass an exam or something outrageous like that. So she'll fuck that. And so she's off. So she heads off for another 6 months and bums around. The guy doesn't get the money back. He's paid the money for the year, but he doesn't see a penny of it. It's gone. She gets a small refund. The university hangs on to most of it. She gets a small refund, which she keeps. And does some great partying on it too. So there's some well-priced party drugs out there. And why shouldn't she? Why shouldn't she have some? People in the university have told her that the dad is a damn fascist Nazi Hitler, a fucking white supremacist. She's entitled to keep that money. Teach that damn Hitler a lesson. So anyway, the next year goes by and she decides that she wants to go back to university, but this time she wants to do gender studies. So she wants a nice course that she can't fail at. And so she wants to do that. So she calls the dad. She won't give any the time of day to. She calls him and says, "Look, I want to go back to university. I want you to pay now for a gender studies course." He tells her, "No, I'm not paying for that. And why did you drop out of the business course and cost me a year's tuition? How about showing me some money from that?" It's all gone. Again, he refuses, and again they drag him into court. This time he decides that he's just going to lose in court no matter what. No matter what happens, he's going to lose. So it's stacked against him 100%. I like the way the lefties and the people sort of say, well, the outcomes in China are 99% in favor of the state. That proves that the legal system there is totally corrupt. That proves it. But when it's 99% in favor of lesbian schoolgirls getting money out of the dad, oh no, that's justice. No, that's how it should be, because damn fascist Nazi Hitler should be made to pay. So anyway, he's got to pay that, and she goes on to do the gender studies course and decides then to stop half year or defer it, but he has to keep on paying. And even though she moves back in with her mother, and so the claim of costs and all the sort of thing that she was using to justify the money he has to pay her, she didn't have those costs anymore. He then applies to the child support folks to say, well, hey, look, the situation's changed. And they tell him to fuck off. No, you still got to pay. Don't care. No, you got to pay. You're on a good income. You can afford it. That's all that matters. But hey, hold on a minute. The premise of the amount of money I have to pay was set on the basis she had certain expense. No, don't care. Fuck off. You've got no chance of winning it in court. So you just got to suck it up, and that's it. Too bad if you don't like it, you fucking fascist Nazi white supremacist Hitler. So he keeps on paying, and he's got to pay until she turns 26. So that's an example, and there are many of them out there, of how child support goes on well past the age of 18. Now, also, there's another scam that's used where they say the child has, or the 18-year-old, they're an adult, has some sort of handicap or something that limits or prevents them from getting employment or well-paying employment. Now, the bar is set very, very low for this. You can go to any medical person almost anywhere, a nurse or anybody anywhere, and get them to sign a thing saying that you've got some sort of psychological problem or some sort of health problem, and that's all it takes for you to have to pay child support, or the payer to have to pay child support beyond the age of 18 until, again, 25, 26 years old. So this gives you an idea of how insanely unjust this system of justice, or it's not justice, the system of what would you call it, brutish enforcement, how unjust it is, and how it urgently needs to be reworked. This idea that men have 100% responsibility, but women have 0% responsibility and have no agency is insane. So the legal sort of situation there, I think, needs to be addressed. Which, and I mentioned this before, example of if he pays for the abortion, I can prove that he never agreed to having a family or children or any relationship with a woman, that it's not a case for child support. Now, alternatively, if there was an agreement to have children and an agreement to have a relationship and these sorts of things, and he abandons that commitment, that promised relationship, then that's definitely a case for paying child support. But if she decides that I want to become a lesbian and I want to go off and have a lesbian relationship, but I want to make him pay, I want to make him pay for my bad life decisions, then that's again an issue that needs to be addressed in a review of the legal system. You've been a Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening. Hung on to that, did you?